Okay, welcome to Sports, Politics, and More. I'm your host, Andrew Pollack. We're late tonight because of issues I had to take care of personally with my mother, which I'm not going to get into. Let's just say she doesn't know how to operate a Roku TV. All right? You want the answer? I'll give the straight answer Frank is asking. The problem is, we have DirecTV. All right? I'm just going to be as complete as random as we've ever been on this show before because, honestly, a lot's been going on in the New York area with the snowstorm today. Our satellite went out. We have DirecTV. And what happened was, satellite went out, and my mom didn't get her soap opera recorded. And had to help her get it online. And guess what? ABC didn't even post today's episode of General Hospital. You know, you can't ask your local ABC affiliate to re-air the episode tonight because, number one, it wasn't a national story like Stoneman Douglas where they had to re-air General Hospital. And two, if it's local station's not going to re-air special for you at 2 a.m. in the morning. So, honestly, I'm going to look out the window. And, I think the snow let up. It looks like it's just, not that much heavy snow right now. My dad, believe it or not, he's shoveling. So, I'm glad he's shoveling because I do have to leave my house tomorrow for an appointment. So, yeah, at least here in New York, the snow's letting up. Yeah, that's a good sign. You know, if Frank was on tonight, he'd be saying, oh, the news is boring, Andrew. We talked about this again last week. Blah, 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 blah. It'd be the same thing over again. You know, with Frank, you know, I'm sick and tired of it too. You know, even though World News Tonight was talking about, the Northeast got the very bad snowstorm today. The Northeast, very bad weather. 2 states declared state of emergency. Oh, let's go down Trump now. Another Trump person left the administration yesterday. You know, the news is so repetitive lately. You go on Drudge Report, as an example, and you go, that's the best example I can give. You want a good example? Go on the Drudge Report, take a look, and see for yourself. Because it is the same repetitive news cycle over and over and over and over again. Trump, 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 Trump. That's all they talk about. I'm sick of it. You know, I remember when Obama was president. They didn't talk about Obama that much. Oh, no, we didn't talk about him. Now, did we? They're so fascinated with Trump. I just don't have an answer anymore on what in the world is wrong with our media today because they're just so biased. Again, me and Frank are not the biggest of Donald Trump supporters. You know, I take him any other day of the week other than Hillary at this point because with Hillary, there'd be a crazy liberal agenda going around. That's for sure. Her craziness. Ugh. I wouldn't even want to think about that. So, again, it's boring. The news is just so repetitive these days. And Frank would completely agree with me that, again, I don't have to keep saying it. You can go on the Drudge Report, and all they talk about is somebody else in the Trump administration resigning. Doesn't it sound like you're watching one of the old episodes of The Twilight Zone where the guy thinks he's in heaven, but he's in hell, and keeping in mind the fat guy is actually the narrator of Winnie the Pooh? Yeah, it's like that episode of The Twilight Zone, the original Twilight Zone. That's what our news has become. It's the reality we live in now. It used to never be like this in the history of the American journalism. Well, you go back to Nixon, that's a whole different story, but I'm also going to quickly, you're going to hear a little bit of repetitiveness in the background in a matter of moments. I'm testing to see if I'm even on the air. If I'm not, then I'm talking like an idiot, and I may have to hang up this call, so. See, my web browser's not working on my phone. Why is that, you may ask? Well, plain crappy technology, right? Yep. Checking in on Google, I can't go on UCY TV. Well, why is that, you may ask? Well, again, technology. I'll just keep talking. You know what? That's what I'll do. I'll just keep talking. Yeah. I'll just keep talking. So, I figured 8:30, I have to keep to our programming. I'll just read random articles on Trudge that don't involve Trump if possible. Maybe I may have another de Blasio story. You know me, I like to blast the mayor of New York City a lot. I don't like him. Many of you know that by now. I don't like him, and many people don't like him. I'm going to get into it if I have another de Blasio story. Well, what else is there? Well, Netanyahu. Okay, I'm hoping he doesn't get thrown in the slammer for corruption charges. I like Bibi anyway. He's a nice guy. But Netanyahu, the Israeli media keeps bothering him so much lately. If you watch the news in Israel, and I will admit, I go online, I go on Israeli English news websites. Well, the media is just constantly covering the story. I hope he's not guilty. I hope he's not guilty for what we know. And if he is guilty, I'll be upset because this guy knows what he's doing for his people. He knows what he's doing for the safetyhood of the Israeli state. He doesn't want the Palestinians taking it over. He's happy Trump moved the embassy to Jerusalem. Netanyahu is a good guy. I will admit that. He is a good guy. Oh, good, I can play myself. Let's covering the story. Oh, good, I'm not talking like an idiot. I can pause that. So where was I? Oh, right. Netanyahu. If he's found guilty of whatever they're accusing him of, as I just said, it's a big loss for Israel. It's a very big loss, and quite frankly, I also want to quickly mention this. If many people are not familiar with Trump and Netanyahu's relationship, I'll talk about that. It all goes back to, I believe, 2012. Apparently, I remember reading an article online back then that then businessman Donald Trump invited Netanyahu to meet at Trump Tower to discuss Trump properties in Israel or something like that. I don't remember. It was a long time ago, but there's photos online, even before Trump became president, that Netanyahu and him had a very close relationship. And believe it or not, I closely follow their relationship. And, one thing's for sure about Bibi. Their relationship goes back even further. And when I read these Israeli news sites, the ones that are in English, they say it all the time. They may involve Trump in the investigation, blah, blah, blah. Okay, what does Donald Trump have to do with an issue that's affecting people in Israel? Other than the fact that he moved the embassy to Jerusalem. You know, to be honest, I'd rather talk about this more than people leaving the Trump administration. Hang on for a sec. Is my dad moving the SUV back? Sorry for quickly mentioning it. It's just that, I couldn't... Oh! Quick weather update. May sound boring to people who are not in New York. I'm looking out my window and it's raining. It's not even snowing anymore. It's actually raining. Let's hope it's rain because the roads look... The main road where I live, it looks fine right now. Looks good. Where was I? Right. If you can give me any story that involves any positivity with Israel, because again, I keep saying it, Israel is our only ally in the Middle East. We have nobody else in the area that even supports the United States. I will take that story any day of the week, and then hearing about the American media saying Trump, Russia, possible collusion, and having their liberal glee club broadcasted all the time. You know, I think this is how liberals have a glee club. Let me pull it up because I have a video of liberals in glee club last year talking about the Russian meddling last year. It's a pretty funny video. Let me find it. Yeah. And then what I might do at 8:30 is I'm going to have to use my phone for the rest of the show tonight because, honestly, I'm also trying to get my computer fixed. So I'm doing the show on my Samsung tonight. Yeah, I think Frank will get a kick out of it if he's listening to this on replay because Frank is not able to join us tonight. Can't find the video. Here we go. This is it.
Russian possible collusion. Trump, Russian metal collusion. Trump, Russia possible collusion. Trump, Russian potentially collusion. Trump, Russia possible collusion. Trump, Russian possible collusion.
I'm gonna rewind it. Hang on.
Russian collusion. Trump, Russian collusion. Trump, Russian sort of collusion. Trump, Russian possible collusion. Trump, Russian metal collusion. Trump, Russia possible collusion. Trump, Russian potentially collusion. Trump, Russia possible collusion. Trump, Russian possible collusion. Trump, Russian collusion. Trump, Russian collusion. Trump, Russia possible collusion. Russia hacked our election. Here comes a big change. Because all of a sudden Trump, the Russian possible collusion. Russian collusion. Trump, Russian possible collusion. Trump, Russian possible collusion. Trump, Russians collusion. Collusion with the Russians. Trump, Russia possible collusion. Trump, Russia possible collusion. Prove collusion. Prove collusion. Was there collusion? Absolutely. Trump, Russia possible collusion.
I'm sick and tired of liberal glee club, and here comes Maxine Waters solo.
Russia possible collusion. Trump, Russia possible collusion. Trump, Russia potential collusion. Trump, Russia possible collusion. And the Kremlin and be in collusion with Putin. And the Kremlin and be in collusion and Putin. And the Kremlin and be in collusion with Putin. And the Kremlin and be in collusion. This president in collusion with Putin. And the Kremlin and be in collusion. This president in collusion with Putin. And the Kremlin and be in collusion. All 17 intelligence agencies. 17 agencies.
Hugh Alfraken.
Intelligence agencies. Our intelligence agencies. 17 different United States intelligence agencies. All 17 of them.
Yep. That's what we have. That's what we have right now. Liberal glee club. You know, when does Schumer and Pelosi and Waters even go and keep talking about this? And then quickly, I'll mention DACA for a sec. You know, no one's even talked about DACA this week. You know, they were supposed to make a big deal about it. Oh, it's March 5th. Deadline extended. Blah, 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 blah. Or, as you would hear in the Muppets from the, assistant. Nope, that didn't happen this week because apparently one of the courts said that the president can't end DACA, so the Dreamers still get to stay. And nobody made a big deal about it. Okay. Yep, that's our media, folks. They have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. That's our media. By the way, Cecilia Vega, still can't stand her from ABC News. She's that preppy little lady in the front who loves to bug Sarah Sanders in her press conferences. You know, where do I even go into that? She decides to ask a question today. I'll pull up the clip if ABC News even posted it. Do you think the president's administration is collapsing? And then Sarah Sanders gives a typical answer. Well, look, the president's doing a good job. He's had a first good year. I'll try to find it. Because it's an interesting clip. I hope normally Rural News post their clips. Yeah, I don't see anything. Yep. I don't see anything with regards to the Cecilia Vega, Sarah Sanders thing. I don't know. I don't want to play the whole thing. It's going to be hard if I try to find it. I'll just forget it. You know why? It's not any usefulness to this program tonight. And I'm sorry for being completely random. As I said, we're going to make this the most random episode of Spam in the history of this show series. Because right now, you know, if this was a planned out show, we'd be acting like robots. I'm off script. I'm just rambling on and on and on about news that the media doesn't want to keep talking about because the media just doesn't want to talk about it. Media doesn't care. They may briefly mention Netanyahu possibly going to court in Israel. They don't even talk about DACA that much. Okay, perfect. We covered that. What else do we need to cover? Well, nothing else. That's what the media wants. That's what they want you to believe. You know what I also want to talk about? Many of you know who Michael Savage is. If you don't, I'll rephrase it. So Michael Savage is this big-time talk show host who helped Trump win the election 2 years ago. So he goes on the air. When was this? Last week? Yeah, last week. He goes on the air, and Breitbart has this big, wonderful article. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but Breitbart has this article saying, oh, well, Michael Savage is considering running for Senate in California to challenge Dianne Feinstein. First of all, I like Mike. Okay, Mike is a old school guy. He's been living in California for many years, and God bless him, because the man's been going through so much in San Francisco. I still keep saying to other friends, listen, could be worse than Manhattan. San Francisco has more homeless people anywhere else in the country than New York. And the homeless like to hang out in Penn Station. You go down there and they'll mess with you. They'll beg for money. In fact, there's this mentally ill woman who goes by Krispy Kreme every time. And she's like, can you give me money? Blah, 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 blah. And then I see this New York City homeless outreach guy. He's literally walking by the New Jersey Transit area. I'll quickly mention this. This was yesterday, so anyhow, before I get off track, So he was saying last week he's considering running against Dianne Feinstein. Now, number one, California is the most liberal state in the union. You can even ask Mark Dice that because that's where he lives, for crying out loud. And yet, his video titles have gotten shorter and shorter and shorter because YouTube is actually censoring conservative outlets. You know, everybody's voice should be heard, no question. And honestly, I'm starting to less like Laura Ingraham lately. But point is, you know, Michael Savage won that election. The liberals in California would freak out. Even the Hollywood elites who love Dianne Feinstein. I can go on and on and on and give a list of Hollywood elites who would be annoyed that Dianne Feinstein would even lose to an election to a conservative talk show host from San Francisco. They would freak out. Oh, there's no question they would. They probably have a liberal temper tantrum, and then they flip out, and they probably go out in the streets in Hollywood, and then they try to figure out if they can find any Michael Savage stuff. Maybe they'll go to Barnes and Noble and try to damage the bookshelves at Barnes and Noble, for all we know. Now, look, I'm just over-exaggerating, but, you know, again, I don't like radical people. Okay, I don't like radical liberals. I don't like radical conservatives. All right, plain and simple. They can be too extreme sometimes. That's why I'm a moderate. Okay? Bottom line is, Michael Savage won that election. It would be interesting. There's no question. And there goes my post-nasal trip. It always acts up when, let me lower this guy. I have the St. John's game on in the background. I don't want to get distracted. I'm not going to say what's going on in the game because Frank will get annoyed if he plays us back, so. How about this? It's 8:30 yet? Oh, it's 1 minute to 8:30. Okay, all right, Frank. I'll go on the Trudge Report and I'll read random articles. Okay. Whatever, Frank. I know he's listening. So anyhow, let's see what's on the front cover at this hour, shall we? Can you take a look at the Drudge Reports? Bum, ba, ba, bum. What do we got? Oh, well. Front cover of Drudge says, USA versus California suit over sanctuary state. Let me read this one. Oh, we have a video. Maybe I'll play the video so that way I don't have to talk. That would be great. I love to save my voice. Well, there goes another snowplow. Here we go. Here's the video.
How dare you vilify members of our community by trying to frighten the American public into thinking that all undocumented residents are dangerous criminals. Hardworking, law-abiding Oaklanders like Eusebio and Maria Sanchez, who you ripped.
Okay, I don't even want to hear this. I'm sorry. You know what this literally makes me remind you of? Westbury, Long Island's excuses to get rid of the illegal aliens. I don't even want to hear this. Off with you. Off, you crazy lady. Yuck. I don't even want to look at her. So let me get this straight. If there's a story about illegal aliens in California, okay, then why does the media in Long Island hide the fact that Westbury is a sanctuary city. They don't want to talk about it because they're afraid to. Yep. I'm just going to quickly read this. U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions dramatically escalated the Trump administration's war with California today, swooning over its so-called sanctuary state law and clashing with the Moonbeam. Yes, you all know who Moonbeam is. I've bashed this guy before. I still think he's 10 times worse than Andrew Cuomo is, that's for sure. Sessions was defiant as he spoke to local law enforcement officials about the lawsuit, citing a series of California laws that say are unconstitutional and violate common sense. I can't sit by idly by the lawful authority of federal officers of being blocked by legislative acts and politicians. Moonbeam didn't hold back in his response, calling Sessions a liar and saying it was unprecedented for the Attorney General to act more like Laura Ingraham than a law enforcement officer. I'm over-exaggerating, but you all know what I mean. The article says he's acting like Fox News, and this is from the Associated Press. You can't make this stuff up. You just can't. Okay, what else does this article say? What Judge Sessions said is simply not true, said Moonbeam, and I call upon him to apologize to the people of California for bringing the menacity of Washington to California, Moonbeam said to reporters today. The mayor of Oakland, who we just heard, who may sound worse than Bill de Blasio, because it seems like California has 10 times worse as politicians than New York does. The mayor of Oakland responds to Sessions by repeating the "how dare you" phrase he used in the remarks in Sacramento today after she recently warned of a federal immigration raid by ICE. See, this is the news the media is hiding from us. I didn't hear about this on Real News Tonight. I'm sure Lester Holt, that stupid hack from NBC News, didn't even talk about this. Yes, he's a hack. He is literally a hack. 10 times worse than Brian Williams, that's for sure. I just don't understand what these people in California. And honestly, to me, sounds like California is a criminal's paradise. You know, at least in New York, at least in Manhattan, the police try to do their best. But California sounds... I am relieved I don't live in California, because I would probably have to take migraine pills if I lived in California, that's for sure. Or lived in Westbury, New York, as an example, because those are just random examples of sanctuary states or cities I can give right now for what I'm saying. Oh, you don't want to hear the truth about Westbury. Where? We control the media. We take the Babylon branch. Where? Yeah, well, tell me how a long-time pizzeria in Westbury was closed because people were abandoning the town. I forgot the name of it, but I had it on here. If I can find the video from Pine Power's channel, I'll play the clip about the pizzeria in Westbury closing. Oh, this is interesting. Matt Camper's live right now. Well, I can't play him because we're on a major network. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, welcome to the most random episode of spam you've ever heard. I'm only being nice to people who are tuning in because Frank would be mean to them. Nah, maybe I'm pulling Frank's leg. I don't know. I'm pretty sure if I go back to one of his videos in December, I might find it. Pine Power LI Pizza. Let me see. Here we go. This is it. Let me find it. Yep, this is what it sounds like when you go on Post Avenue in Westbury. As an example. Yep, that's what happens when you let your town go to shit. When you have dumb people making dumb decisions, that's what happens. You know, as an example, and I'll quickly say it again. Westbury is a junky town if you go to Post Avenue. There's a sign of two towns. You go to Old Country Road, okay, fine. Maybe there's a Majestic Diner. Maybe there's the shops along Old Country. You have Best Buy and Walmart there, even though that Walmart looks crappy lately, and I prefer to go to the one in East Meadow in most cases. But you go over there, it's a terrible area. Yeah, wait a minute, I remember. Pine Power told me there was a Newsday article about that. Okay. Yeah, see, that's what happens when you get a brain fart, when you're being so random tonight. Pretty sure if you Google it, it'll come up. Then I'll go back to Trudge, I promise. Yeah, Alfredo's. That was the place. Yeah, Alfredo's Pizza. That closed. Yep. I remember now. Pine Power was talking about it. The owner couldn't take the people who were in the area anymore. You know what he did? He said, screw you to the town of Westbury, and he left Post Avenue. Do you think anybody wants to go over there? Do you think anybody wants to go to San Francisco as an example? No, because we are reporting this. We are the ones doing it. You know what I might want to read now that I'm triggered? I'm triggered now. I'm really triggered now because I'm just so annoyed about this. CBS New York actually claims millennials want to move to Westbury. Yeah, that's what I'll read. That's what I'll be fair. It's just so. Yeah, here we go. This is a Newsday article. I'll read it. Alfredo's, a longtime pizza, Italian and American favorites in Westbury, closed. This business has been along Post Avenue since 1962. Alfredo's was known as a late-night stop for a quick slice along Post Avenue for people who went on the Walden State Parkway and wanted a quick bite to eat. It also had hero sandwiches, soups, such as minestrone and pasta, baked clams, parmesans, and more pasta choices than you can even imagine. Yep. They don't even have a bigger article. It's a shame. It's a big shame Alfredo's closed. You know, I remember every time my dad would take me on Post Avenue, and it was an area that was bustling. And even John from Pine Power remembers this. I'm even going to keep talking about him because, you know, why do I want to talk about it? Because Frank doesn't want to talk about it. That's why. Okay, so let's check out CBS New York. CBS New York. I'm going to read the article. I'm going to react to it live on UCY TV. Let's do that, shall we? Yeah, I'm sure if this was a live show, I'd be getting applause. Who cares? Here we go. This article was written on February 21st. Millennials are striking out in Long Island. Let me reread this. I apologize. This is terrible writing. Millennials are striking out in the Long Island village of Westbury. Somebody must have messed up on Microsoft Office, because this is not how I would have written an article. Prompting Money Magazine's name it as one of the best places for young singles to live. Young families are moving in with children in tow, and they are increasingly being enjoyed by even younger millennials. But don't confuse it for Brooklyn. This is Nassau County. Love the diversity. Love the community. Great range of different restaurants, cafes, shops. Millennial resident Richard Dorrell said, everyone is really friendly no matter what culture they're from. I don't like what this article says, because this is not the truth. Oh, man. Fake news. Fake news. Fake news. Let's go on Drudge Report, shall we? Because I'm sick and tired of talking about it. I want Drudge load. There we go. Now Drudge will load. Let's see what we got. Oh, wow. Am I reading this right? NYPD wants to arrest Harvey Weinstein. Oh, that pedophile? Well, sorry for saying that. I keep thinking of Larry Nassar all the time. And quickly, I just want to mention St. John's Georgetown game's sounding interesting, that's for sure. I love the article load. Why? My phone's frozen. Oh, never mind. Let me see if I can Google it. Harvey Weinstein. Here we go. Okay. New York Daily News is reporting. New York Police Department is ready to arrest Harvey Weinstein, but the New York State District Attorney needs to sign off on it. The New York Police Department is ready to slap the cuffs on Harvey Weinstein. Oh, my apologies. The Manhattan District Attorney needs to sign off on it. According to the Daily Beast, a senior NYPD official quoted with saying, we're ready to go with an arrest. The former movie mogul could be facing charges of sexual assault. Well, it's about time this idiot got what he deserved. The only thing keeping Mr. Weinstein out of jail for the moment is an okay from Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance. Chief of the Texas, Robert Boyce, told the New York Daily News, we are still accumulating evidence. Robert Boyce also said, it's going very, very well. We have a lot of information. The information has to be handed over to the grand jury. I would ask you to talk to Cy Vance, the Manhattan District Attorney. Vance's office did not immediately respond to a request for comment. A law enforcement source told the DA's office is still investigating. He's guilty. You know how many women have come out against this guy? If he's not arrested by the end of the month and Cy Vance doesn't sign off on it, something is very wrong. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, what else do we got on Drudge? Honestly, I don't have anything else. If what I can do for the end of the show is play President Trump meeting with Netanyahu on what day of the week it was. I think it was yesterday and Monday. I'm not too sure. But if I don't see anything else interesting, I'll play the clip. All right, let me see what else is on here. Nothing else. Again, Frank is right. The news is boring. Frank, say it every week. You are the voice of reason. Oh. I don't even see anything. European clock slowed by lag and power. Who cares? Who cares? Interesting. Interesting. Newsweek expected to make structural changes. Let me see if it'll come up. Okay. Newsweek owners announced a series of strategic structural changes to the media company yesterday. Amid turmoil, the magazine has included a law enforcement raid and wide-ranging resignations and firings. Changes from Newsweek's owners include splitting Newsweek and its sister outlet, the International Business Times, into two separate operating entities. So, in other words, the International Business Time and Newsweek actually is going to split. No more affiliation. You won't hear this from the mainstream media. They will not talk about this. Maybe if you put Bloomberg Radio on, they'll talk about this, but nowhere else. I just like to see everyone's reactions when liberals don't want to read the real news. They don't want to see anything else. They want to go on CNN.com and be born to a bunch of crappy propaganda from CNN. And I don't even go on FoxNews.com. Maybe once or twice to check an article. But that's it. I mean, most of the times I check Yahoo. Let me see if I can get back on Drudge. I don't see anything else. Ugh. Bezos. The man is such a con artist. $39 billion this last year? Oh, this is perfect. I can read an article on Netanyahu. I can play the post. All right. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addresses the American-Israeli Public Affairs Committee's annual policy conference yesterday. Wait, what's today's date? Yeah, yesterday's the 6th. Okay, let me see. If the Prime Minister of Israel is straining under the weight of seemingly endless investigations against him, or the coalition crisis that has suddenly emerged, it was not apparent when he addressed AIPAC's annual conference meeting yesterday. This time, the gimmick was more subtitled the words 1-800 How's My Speech Written for all those to see on the back notes he carried as he strolled away from the podium on the large stage to get a closer look at the huge audience. The gimmick worked, sending the Twitter sphere all flutter. Baby did it again. He inserted an element into his speech that ensured people would remember the speech long after it was over. They might not remember exactly what he said, but they will remember it and talk, even if it's mockingly about this. Netanyahu's detractors would argue that his entire speech, in fact his entire trip to Washington this week, was a gimmick meant to distract attention from his domestic woes. But it wasn't. There are serious issues on the table for the state of Israel. Iran and Syria, for example, that do not rest in needs tending to within the United States administration, even as the police investigate Bibi. Still, Bibi knows how exceptionally well what plays with his crowd, and he hit all the right chords in his speech. He stressed the benefits the country is bringing to the world. He praised Israeli Defense Forces soldiers, and he mentioned the biblical influences on Thomas Jefferson Lincoln and Martin Luther King Jr. This is just another example. He told Hamas to stop paying off terrorists to kill Jews. See, the American media doesn't want to talk about Hamas because it'll offend people. I'm sure they were happy to see Netanyahu. And you know why they were happy to see him? It's because Netanyahu is a man who takes things very seriously. You don't want to get into a big problem with him. He's a straightforward man, and the investigation against him, they'll forget about it, hopefully. Yeah, that just bothers me that they're vaccinated. Alright, so I figured to end the show, I'll play a little bit of President Trump's meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu from what day of the week it was. I don't even... President Trump meets with Benjamin Netanyahu. Let me see if it comes up. Yep. So this is from Monday. We'll play the clip right now. And again, the American media is so fascinated with another Trump. I'm not even going to talk about who resigned, because you know why? It'll just trigger me before the end of the show. I don't want to talk about it. Frank would make me talk about it because he would have put it on the teleprompter. No, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to play this clip from the White House on Monday. President Trump, along with the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, also meets with the First Lady of Israel, and Melania was also in the room. So we're going to play the clip. Thank you for listening. Hopefully Frank will be back next week, and cue the clip.
No pressure. No, very little. We get very little. They don't like covering us.
They like being very special.
They like us. Thank you very much. It's a great honor to have Prime Minister Netanyahu and Mrs. Netanyahu with us. They've been friends for a long time. We have, I would say, probably the best relationships right now with Israel that we ever had. I think we're as close now as maybe ever before. Jerusalem was a wonderful thing, and I know it was very much appreciated in a big part of the world, not just in Israel, in a very big part. So that was a decision that I had to make. Many presidents were discussing whether or not to make that decision, and they promised it in their campaigns, but they never were able to do what they should have done. So I was able to do it, and I think it's something that's very much appreciated in Israel, but far beyond Israel. We are very close on trade deals. We are very, very close on military and terrorism and all of the things that we have to work together on. So the relationship has never been better. And Mr. Prime Minister, Mrs. Netanyahu, it's a great honor to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. President, Donald, Melania, Sarah, and I want to thank you for your extraordinary friendship and hospitality. It's always a pleasure to see you both, but this is the first time we meet in Washington, America's capital, after you declared, Mr. President, Jerusalem as Israel's capital. And this was a historic proclamation, followed by your bold decision to move the embassy by our upcoming National Independence Day. I want to tell you that the Jewish people have a long memory. So we remember the proclamation of the great king, Cyrus the Great, Persian king, 2,500 years ago. He proclaimed that the Jewish exiles in Babylon can come back and rebuild our temple in Jerusalem. We remember 100 years ago, Lord Balfour, who issued the Balfour Proclamation that recognized the rights of the Jewish people in our ancestral homeland. We remember 70 years ago, President Harry S. Truman was the first leader to recognize the Jewish state. And we remember how a few weeks ago, President Donald J. Trump recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Mr. President, this will be remembered by our people throughout the ages. And as you just said, others talked about it. You did it. So I want to thank you on behalf of the people of Israel. And I also want to I look forward to our discussions on both challenges and opportunities. If I had to say what is our greatest challenge in the Middle East to both our countries, to our Arab neighbors, it's encapsulated in one word: Iran. Iran has not given up its nuclear ambitions. It came out of this nuclear deal emboldened, enriched. It's practicing aggression everywhere, including on our own borders. And I think we have to stop this country that chants death to Israel, death to America. Iran must be stopped. That is our common challenge. The second is seeking, because of that challenge, to exploit the opportunity for peace, because the Arabs have never been closer to Israel. Israel has never been closer to the Arabs. And we seek also to broaden that peace to the Palestinians. So I look forward to those discussions, but I want to just reiterate what you just said. Mr. President, I've been here for nearly 4 decades, with talking, seeking to build the American-Israel alliance. Under your leadership, it's never been stronger. And the people of Israel see your position on Jerusalem, they see your position on Iran, they see your magnificent defense of Israel and the truth of the United Nations. And I, as Prime Minister, see something that you as President see, but others can't see. It's the extent of our intelligence and other qualities.